Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swaggle You know, one of the things I do here on my channel, or at least, one of the things I like to think that I do, is to take whatever is going on in pop culture and translate it to, things that are happening in the secondary comic book collecting market. Usually that manifests into things like, hey, if there's a TV show or a movie or something exciting going on, how does that relate to books moving on eBay? A new trailer drop, you guys know I'm going to pull out the Benny Hill music. A new movie that comes out, you guys know I'm going to talk about all the spec books that get hot that week. So leading up to the launch of Star Wars The Acolyte, I thought to myself, sure, yeah, sometime within these couple weeks, I'll probably put together a video talking about Star Wars books. And so as I looked into it and started prepping this, I was shocked as to how little movement there are for Star Wars books on the secondary market. Maybe I shouldn't be shocked. Actually, I don't know if I was shocked because it actually just kind of makes sense. Nobody cares about them anymore. Nobody cares about Star Wars anymore. The brand is dead. And so in this video, I kind of want to take a trip down memory lane, check in on the Star Wars books. I make a lot of jokes here on the channel of how this book is going to zero. X-Men 97 books going to zero. Taylor Swift going to zero. But obviously I'm being facetious. But in the case of Star Wars books, these books are damn near going to zero. And in this video, I'm going to show you just that. But of course, before I get into this one, if you guys could like, comment, subscribe, I appreciate it. Helps for our channel doing those things. But let us get into this video here today. 85%. There you see it, guys. Rotten Tomato score, while only 19% audience score. Quite of a big differential right there. Now, I myself couldn't actually tell you what I think about the show because, frankly, I didn't watch it. I don't care to watch it. I only vaguely knew that it was coming out because I have a YouTube channel where, I figured that I would have to review the comic books related to it. But to me, I lost interest in Star Wars a long time ago. Whenever the Book of Boba Fett came out, I was like, this ain't it, guys. This ain't it. Hey, look, listen. If you're somebody out there who likes Star Wars, I'm not here to take that joy away from you. That's great. You like Star Wars. If you like Ahsoka or The Acolyte or Obi-Wan or whatever, cool. That's awesome. I'm glad you're enjoying it. For me, Star Wars ain't it, And so I just don't care anymore about these series. And I don't think that I'm the only one. And so when I look at the score, there's a lot of conversation out there about this thing is being review bombed or whatever. And it's I don't think that that's actually the case. Because if, secondary market collectible purchasing is any indication of, what people are into, then I think it's pretty telling that people are definitely not into this show or Star Wars as a brand. Even when you go over here, Forbes, a fairly, I guess neutral, reputable publication. And even they're saying The Acolyte Episode 3 is one of the worst Star Wars episodes ever made. When you have Forbes saying that, that's pretty damning. You know what else is pretty damning? When I go over to Key Collector and I go down here to their categories, and you can look, they have it broken out. Okay, they do comic history here, the Sony Spider-Verse, they have a Marvel one, they have a DC one, and then they have a Star Wars one here. You know what happens when you go to the Star Wars one? They don't even have one for The Acolyte. Nick over at Key Collector gave up. He was like, you know what, people don't even click on this stuff. They don't even care. We have an Ahsoka bucket that'll show you the Ahsoka books. We have a Book of Boba Fett bucket that'll show you that. There's none for The Acolyte. Now, it could be the case that, there's literally no books related to The Acolyte. That could be the case. But I also just think it's the case that, again, nobody cares about this stuff. You go over here to the Trending 20. This is for this week, right now. What do you see? You see Lady Deadpool. You see some Wolverine, Deadpool, X-Men 97 stuff. You see Herogasm. You see some other stuff that's related to some of the things going on. You know what you don't see? 0 Star Wars books. 0 Star Wars books in the Trending 20 as we have The Acolyte going on. That never happens. That never happens. Even when you have a bad movie, a bad show, a bad whatever going on, there's always a book related to that shows up on the trending list. And in this case, it's not. even if you go over here to Cover Price. Cover Price, weekly top 10. Nothing. No Star Wars comic books. Even Venom hits number 3. The goofy Venom trailer that we got, even that has books that people want. You got DC spec books here with Superman. People are more bullish on Captain America 310. First appearance of the Serpent Society. The first appearance of the Serpent Society still today has more interest for comic book collectors than Star Wars and the Star Wars The Acolyte. I mean, that's crazy. Like, even if you go down here, look, we'll go to the top 20, outside the top 10. Venom Lethal Protector number 4 shows up. People still believe in this book more than they do Star Wars. I mean, you got X-Men 97 still kicking. You got more Apocalypse stuff still kicking. Doctor Doom is still popular. I mean, this is wild. Go over here to go collect the trending list. I mean, what do you see? New to the list this week, Venom. New to the list this week, Venom Lethal Protector. Even bad shows, even bad, properties that people are not really that interested in, even those make waves in the comic book market. But you know what doesn't make waves anymore? Star Wars. Because people are apathetic. It's kind of sad, really. It's kind of shocking. I mean, I don't really care, but it's interesting to talk about, especially when you think back to, those early days of the comic book boom. A lot of people think that it was White Vision and WandaVision that really set it off. But you know what really set it off was Mando. Mando Season 2. That's what really got people going crazy. Remember this book, Star Wars number 42, first appearance of Boba Fett, although maybe you count the magazine as the first appearance. Let's just talk about this one as the first appearance. This was the first initial kind of FOMO book within context to, this current age that we're talking about in comic collecting land. And this is a book that even this one, even this great series from the 70s, I mean, when you're talking about books going to zero, like, this one is as close as, it's going to come to that sort of joke. Before we got the series, $600. Now, last sale, I mean, you see a $781 right here. Not even he can still spark joy amongst collectible holders. I mean, he should. You shouldn't feel like, just because the shows are bad, or the TV show is bad, or The Acolyte is bad, or Star Wars is dead, or whatever crazy headline, you're going to read. You could still enjoy the comic books. But hey, we're all human. I mean, as soon as you take your Star Wars 42 and post it on Instagram or post it on Reddit, or Twitter, or wherever you share your comic books, with other people, of course, the first comment that you're going to see on there is going to be like, Acolyte sucks, right? Like, that's what it is. So it's going to have an effect on the people who collect this stuff. Remember this book, Star Wars Heir to the Empire number 1? I mean, what's crazy about this book is that we haven't even hit the point of mass hysteria that this book is supposed to get to. This is the first appearance of Thrawn. We haven't even really gotten, the presumed crossover TV show or movie event, whatever they're actually going to build up to, where Thrawn is the actual bad guy. I mean, we got him in Ahsoka, but I mean, I didn't really even watch the series, guys. It just, again, apathy, no interest. But look at this book. Look at that graph. I mean, we are on our way to Zero Town. This book was actually more exciting to own before we ever got Disney Star Wars. That's kind of sad. That is so sad. Look at this, the last sale, $400 for a 9.8. I mean, that's probably always what it should have cost. But at the same time, it's just crazy to see that, at one point people were paying $2,000 for this book. Somebody paid $1,938. $1,938.34 to be exact. I mean, bananas. Look at this thing. You can't even give this book away. Star Wars The Clone Wars number 1. I remember the last time I did a Star Wars video, I think I did a Marvel report on Star Wars The Clone Wars for Ahsoka. Because of this book right here, of course, this being her first appearance. This one next to the variant, the special edition, that is more rare. But with both of these books, again, you can't give them away right now. It's insane to see how far from grace they have actually dropped. Somebody paid $3,600 for this, maybe more, $3,619. Last sale, $1,000. Even then, $1,000. I mean, maybe it's going to continue to go down to zero. You know what's crazy about when I did the market report on this? Is that nobody watched the video. No, it was like probably one of my worst performing videos. I know that this video is going to be one of my worst performing videos because, again, nobody cares about Star Wars anymore. Everyone's got apathy. It's donezo. Look at this book. Peak sale, $15,950. Almost $16,000. Now where are we at? $3,000. $2,967. Below $3,000. I mean, that is, as far as, Zero Town is concerned, that's basically Zero Town. When you go from a 5-figure book down to 2,900, I mean, I know a lot of people like to meme on, the Ultimate Fallout number 4, the Djurjevic variant with Miles Morales, but at least that book, that has come back down to earth is still, in the 5-figure range. This book, I mean, $16K down to $3? That's brutal. That is brutal for this book right here. And again, it feels like this is simply due to the fact that the Star Wars experiment has failed. It's failed Disney. And anyone who was a fan of, Star Wars and the Star Wars comic books, I feel like they got burned so hard. This is one where the speculators got wrecked with Star Wars comic books, at least for right now. Kanon, Last Padawan number 6, first full Sabine Wren. I already have the graph up. Look at this. It sells for less today than even pre-comic boom. At least you were getting $375 in 2020. Today, $139. $139 for this 9.8. That's basically the cost of the book and the slab and a press and clean. That's what it's like $139 is nothing. There's new comic books that are not key issues that come out every week that get $139. Let's talk about this one. Star Wars Darth Maul number 2. I mean, it's bad enough that the Ahsoka books have gone down the way that they've gone down, but these spec books, the Star Wars spec books, look at this, 9/8, $52. Last sale for this one. Cad Bane, first appearance of Cad Bane. He came and went, and he went before he really ever came. Pause. Look at this, $52. That is basically the cost to grade. What do people call those ones? It's basically like the cost of the book, or the slab cost. Slab cost, is that what it is? $52. 9/8 white pages. Nobody cares about this book anymore. This has gone to zero. This book is Zero Town. Somebody paid $872 for it. Present day value, $751.98. Someone just got it for $52. Someone actually got it for $49, even before that. How crazy is that? Now, there is still this book, Star Wars number 1. Of course, probably the biggest key of all Star Wars books, for obvious reasons. First appearance of Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader and all those good characters. And this is one that, yes, has had its correction, comic boom correction. But at least this book is still sort of holding up, elevated above the 2020 prices. Maybe it's still a little bit high, in my opinion. We're seeing that this was a $1,800 book, summer of 2020, and where it kind of sits is still double the price. I would be a little bit concerned that this one would fall. Or maybe this is going to be an exception, because this is one of the last bastions that you can actually place your Star Wars fandom. Because this, they can never take away from you. This is the OG. This is the original. This is the member berries. This is the nostalgia. This is when Star Wars was good. The original trilogy. The original characters. Not like whatever it is that we're getting now. But does it really even matter anymore, guys? Does it even matter? I think I just wanted to do a video talking about this. going to Rant Town, again, I haven't even watched The Acolyte. I barely watched Ahsoka. I mean, I might have seen the first episode. And I kind of like slept walk through Book of Boba Fett and what were the other ones? Obi-Wan Kenobi. That one show was good, I think, but I didn't even finish it. I just don't care. And I don't think I'm the only one. Because as far as comic book collectors are concerned, nobody cares either. Nobody is buying this stuff. All of this stuff has gone to zero. It's wild. And I don't really have anything else to add to that. I mean, I guess if we can kind of poeticize it or romanticize, this video, I'll just say it like this. The comic book boom started with Mandalorian. It started with books like Star Wars 42. And now, where we are today, after The Acolyte, where we are today with comic book values for Star Wars, I'm here to pronounce it. The comic book boom is officially dead. It's over. It was an era of the past. Anyways, that's all I got for this video. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about Star Wars comic books right now? Are you a Star Wars comic collector? Have the shows and movies, still kept your interest? Are you still a fan of the IP? Has it tainted your view of the comic books? Do any of these prices for what the Star Wars comic books are selling for now attract any collectors out there? Are you guys like, oh man, I can't wait to go pick up a Cad Bane for $52? Or are you thinking to yourself, man, $52 is still more money than I want to pay for that book? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, that's all I got. Like, comment, subscribe. See you on the next video.